good evening, and welcome to another episode of Wine Down Wednesday with the Real Girls Wine. I am Miana or Yana, and my drink of choice tonight is high quality H2O. I will not be partaking in the turn up, unfortunately. But I'd like to take a moment to bring awareness to suicide prevention. If you're thinking about suicide, are worried about a friend or loved one, or would like emotional support, please contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1 800 273 TALK. Again, that number is 1 800 273 8255. Remember that you matter and that the world is a better place with you in it. And I will allow the ladies to introduce themselves.
Okay, good evening. I am the other half of Real Girls Wine. My name is Teresa. Tonight I am having wine. It's been a rough day. I am having a Cab Zen, which is a dry red. And then we'll introduce Mo.
Hello, I am Mo, and I am the ambassador of Real Girls Wine, and I am drinking tea. I'm drinking ginger honey tea.
And then tonight we have none other than our special guest of the evening, Chantrice Marshall, and we'll let you tell her all about herself and what her drink of choice is for tonight.
My name is Chantrice Marshall, and my choice of drink is sangria from Cooper Hawks.
Okay.
I am from Chicago. I am a nurse, a book author, a life coach, and an inspiring actress.
Okay.
Welcome.
So Chantrice, let's talk about this nurse. We've had a couple of nurses on. What type of nurse are you? And then we're gonna dig into the business because now that's gonna make it even deeper.
Okay, so I am a licensed practical nurse. I've been a nurse for about 10 years now, doing a little bit of long term care, short term care, wound care, school nurse, referral specialist, just a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Okay.
And then how did you get started in your business?
As a nurse or outside of that?
No, now we're gonna talk. We get into your business now. We
Okay.
found yeah.
Yeah,
um, well, it all started for me writing my first book called I'm Not Cursed, Am I? Which is a book about generational curses and how to overcome generational curses. It gives prayers, it gives affirmations, it gives scriptures. So once I did that, I just decided to keep going. And now I'm working on my second book called Do You See Me? Do You See
Ooh.
Me as a book going to be about people that's going through like a hard time in life and they feel like no one can relate and they feel like their life is just never going to change. Outside of that, I do life coaching and a little bit of acting.
Okay.
busy,
Yes.
busy woman. You have children?
I do. I have two girls that's 17 and 8.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
17. You don't even look like you have a 17-year-old. I'm telling you,
I
that
do.
black does not crack.
That's the
Thank
melanin.
you.
That's the
Don't
Thank you.
crack
melanin.
or crumble.
So let's go back to your first book you said about breaking generational curses. What was the catalyst that helped you to say enough is enough? I'm going to be the one to break that generational curse.
I had been hearing the topic like generational curse for years, and I never like paid attention to it until my pastor said like, "Be happy that you are not your mother and your father." And it's like
Mm.
not to say that your mother and father are bad people, but what not so good traits are you happy that like kind of skips you? And ever since he said that, I was like paying attention to my childhood, other people, just being self aware of people and patterns. And then I started educating myself on it. Then I just started journaling. And then I've been trying to write the book for like 2 years, no, 10 years. I have been trying to write the book and I finally decided to release it.
Oh, okay. Good for you.
Yeah,
I'm
because
glad
sometimes the
you
enemy
out.
will get in the way and he'll throw, especially if he knows that it's going to be something that's going to help other people.
Right.
He will try to keep us bound and not he'll throw every distraction in our way to keep us from getting that done because he knows that it'll free other people.
Yes. Yes, he will.
Hmm. That is definitely so. I want to ask another question about that book, that because that's breaking generational curses is something big.
Yes.
Yeah,
And so many
definitely.
people are not aware that they're actually living in generational curses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's so true because we get things from our parents, they got from our grandparents, etc., and we don't even question why we do certain things. We just know that we were raised that way, so we instill that in our children without even asking. And we know that we're hurting, but we're like, "Well, this is the way my mother did it. This is
Right.
the way my grandmother did it. So who am I to change that?"
Right.
And we aren't thinking that we are doing our kids a disservice by passing that on.
Right.
Yeah, like even in bringing that up, like it's making me think about tradition. You
Hmm.
know how we get stuck into tradition. What we, this is what we celebrate. This is what we do because it's just been tradition, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like certain things like should we, break that as well, break the traditions that we have been taught. Is that all associated and affiliated with generational curses as well?
Mm-hmm. And then you just see so many people that don't want to go against what's normal in their family and what's normal of what was instilled in them. So once
Mm-hmm.
you really sit in something and see that it's not normal, it's really up to you to change that. Like, this is not right. This is not normal. It stops with me. So it's up to us to take that change.
Which I think is why, if you think about it, a lot of times some of the traditional things stop after a grandparent dies. If
Mm-hmm.
you ever think about it, like some things stop once a grandparent passes away. So you may see that we don't do certain things after Big Mama died. So that's one thing that I noticed in some families. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we used to do this, but then when Big Mama died, that stopped.
Right. Right.
And the prime example of things that I think nowadays that are breaking generational curses is the hiding of sexual abuse trauma in families.
Oh yeah, that's a deep one. That I actually that's one of the things that I talk about in my book is colorism, divorce,
Mm-hmm.
molestation,
Yes.
alcoholism, drugs,
Mm-hmm.
just like it has to be stopped. Like it has to be broken.
Mm-hmm.
But now I see so many people are like telling their stories like it's not like back in the 90s where everything was a secret and what stays in this what goes on in this house stays in this house. Like people are really speaking up for themselves.
Hmm.
And that was one of the reasons for a lot of alcoholism and drug abuse, because they held it in. That I think a lot of people use alcohol and drugs as an outlet,
Yeah, it's just a coping mechanism.
as a
Hmm.
coping mechanism. Yeah,
I,
I'm about to get that book. That sounds like a really good read.
Yeah,
A
Hmm.
it's
really, really good
on my
read.
website and it's also on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
Okay, for those that are logging in late, can you give the names of both of your books, please?
My first book is called I'm Not Cursed, There Am I, and my second book will be released this year. It's called Do You See Me?
I'm gonna put it in the chat. Put it so that they can see. It's called what again? The first book.
I'm Not Cursed, or Am I?
And Do You See Me will be released later this year.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that.
Hmm.
Okay, so we started talking about your first book. Let's um change over a little bit and give us how you balance. I know you said you're a nurse, you're an aspiring actress, etc. How do you balance all that with being a mother and writing your next book? What tips can you give us about balancing all of that?
Um, Consistency, structure, and keeping yourself first. Like whatever you got to do to squeeze something in for yourself. That's really typically what I like to do. If I don't, then I feel like depleted. I feel like I'm running off an empty cup. So I would just always say, keep going and keep you first because your kids is gonna get grown.
That is
Mm-hmm.
so true. I just experienced that with all of my children being grown, leaving the nest, even though the last one came back. But he left the nest, and it was like I was so lost that first couple of months because I was like, if you ask me what my kids like, what their favorite color is, what they like to eat, I can rattle it off without thinking. But if somebody asks me, I would have to pause because I didn't know who I was outside of being a wife, a mother, etc., a daughter, a sister. I
Mhm.
didn't know what that was like. So it took me time to actually come into my own and be okay with being alone and not having to, you know, take care of children, etc. So uh,
And that's
definitely
what I
experience.
really didn't want to get lost in doing. I felt myself getting lost in titles, a wife, a mother. And I just had to step back, like, okay, no, who am I? Like, what do I like? So I think being a little bit of selfish as well, knowing that it's okay if I don't cook tonight. It's okay if I just want to be alone. Like, it's nothing wrong with that.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
still trying to figure that out. Like I'm literally like when my son moved out. What has been like 3 years, and I was just like, wow, what I'm gonna do? And I'm still trying to figure that out because even like when he was in the home, I still made sure it was a balance where I was still enjoying life and also making sure he enjoyed life, with traveling and things of that nature. But it's definitely an experience being an empty nester. Like
Hmm.
I'm still trying to figure this out.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I have I have no clue. I'm just kind of, just talking to God like, okay, God, what you got? What you want me to do? Cause what's your plan? Cause right now I don't even have a plan for you to knock down.
Yeah. Because we
Well,
put
you're on
so
the
much
right track.
into being a mother, put so
Mm-hmm.
much into being a mother. Like, I'd be turning to Martha Stewart for my kids, like birthdays, holidays, like,
Hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
give you something to do. Is it something that you know inspired you to like something that happened in your life? If you don't mind sharing, that just motivated you to write the book, the first book, okay? Because you said it took 10 years. So I know within this 10-year process, you were building up or developing and probably you tripped or fell a couple of times and things of that nature. So what kind of pushed you and developed you to really step into that and fully go into writing a book and getting it out there?
a heartbreak that turned into a divorce.
Mm. Been there
Yeah. Yep.
twice. Been there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I think it was Ayanna Van Zandt was like, the only way to go up is if you hit rock bottom. Like, once you
Mm-hmm.
hit rock bottom, the only way to go is up. So once you go through like certain transitions in life, you become a different person and you have to learn that person, and you just start pulling seeds in you that was already there. So I would say doing the work and really tapping into self-healing and who I am, and it just pushed and pushed and pushed me to release it.
Yeah. How long
Mm-hmm.
were you married for?
5 years. Yep.
Okay. I know that has to be, my friend, I had a friend that was going through separation. They was he was separated and he just like, oh, it feel like death,
It
Mm-hmm.
like
does.
he was like,
Mm-hmm.
this feels like death. Like I want, to be married. I want my wife back. And I was just like, don't give up. Like I was really like rooting for him because he was so sad. So I can't even imagine because, you know, people don't talk about that. Like people talk about like marriage, like it's just something like you do it and it don't work out, you get a divorce. But sometimes people go into it like wholeheartedly, expecting that to last forever. So I can't imagine, how you feel when it doesn't
And in
last
my
forever.
second book, I talk a little bit about that and just like the different feelings and emotions in that transitional period and that isolation period and um, obedience of a sacrifice when you have to be obedient even when you don't understand. And
Mhm,
I just had this conversation yesterday with somebody saying that grievance comes in waves and you just never know when it's going to come. And
mhm,
when you grieve the loss of somebody that's dead, that's a little bit different, but it's painful when you're grieving a person that's still alive. Like that's a little bit harder.
yeah,
Because when
yeah,
you make peace when that person pass away. You still be hurt that they're gone and how they passed away, but when you have to grieve somebody that's still here, that's hard. That's very painful.
right. Because
Mm-hmm.
you feel like it's still room for reconciliation. You
Well, no,
know.
you just remembering the old them and you still got to see them again and you still got to push your
Mm-hmm.
hurt and pain to the side to
Mhm.
Yeah,
co-parent
I got
and
you.
Yeah.
It's like reliving every time you
right,
see that
right.
person,
Mm-hmm.
like reliving whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just today for my first job, we had Wellness Wednesday and we had a the topic was coping with grief. And one of the things that the speaker said is grief is not just death, but it's the loss of an expected outcome.
Mm,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's deep.
deep.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Grief is the loss of an expected outcome.
Mm. We grieving a lot of things.
Hmm.
Mhm. We definitely are. And they went into detail about the different types of grief when they said, like both were just saying, when we think of grief, we always think of death, but grieving is a process for all aspects of our life when we experience loss, a job, a
Right.
marriage, a
Hmm.
child, etc. We and not just death losing a child, but losing a child and they're still in this world, but you lost them
Mm.
temporarily. So um
I talk about that in my book as well. Like grief is scary. It's very scary. It opens the door for anxiety, depression. Like once you experience something so painful, you just always on the edge of what worse can
mhm,
happen in my life next.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you said you have a 17-year-old,
Yes.
right? How?
That's a
Look, I'll
girl,
jump to
right?
that. I'll jump to that.
Is it a girl?
Yes, a girl. I have two girls.
So I had 17-year-old in the uh early 2000s. He's going to be 31 this year.
Okay.
How are you handling having a 17-year-old in the day where everything is so like social media present?
I have anxiety. I have anxiety to be completely honest. I haven't because this is a different world and it's so much happening to girls out here to where it's like
Mm-hmm.
you say go left and they literally go right. Like
Mhm.
girls are different than boys.
Yes.
Um I need a support group for
Trust
that
me, I
because it's like she'll be 18 this year, so I have to like not come off like raw so much because it's like okay, I don't want to push her away too much to where she turn 18 and run out the door and do something completely that she can't come back from. So I try
Right.
know.
to calm down with it, but I have anxiety. Like
Mm.
I love my kids more than anything in this world. Like yeah. Mm-mm. Even like her driving, like I say, you're not an experienced driver. Don't get on this expressway. She gets on it. I'm like, okay, okay. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get some anointing oil and I'm gonna anoint your tires and pray.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to give you to God and just woo, sigh, and breathe. Cause yeah,
Like you just want
Mhm.
to do reverse psychology, like get on the expressway. Yes, do it. I'm not gonna be on this
Mhm.
road traffic. Shit. Like maybe. flip it on her.
And then
Yeah, but you know,
especially
with
by
these
being,
kids, it probably won't even work because you know they so smart and ahead of us. They think they know everything, so they would flip that like, "Well, you told me to get on this first
Right,
one,
right.
so you got
Hey,
to be careful with that."
right. And then especially like and then it has to be because when you're a life coach, motivational speaker, like, and you're trying to do it in with love, like, hey, I'm telling you this out of love. And she like, yeah, whatever, I want to do what I want to do. And because they have such the opposite out there, everything is so like fast. You got the sexy
Yes.
reds out there. You got, even though Megan went to college, she has other things, but like everything is so naked. Like you want to
Yes.
be like, you don't have to be naked to to show that you're beautiful. But on the other hand, that's like all they see is you got to be naked.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the older woman once told me, it's like you going through the hate years. You gonna hate her, she gonna hate you, but give her space to come back around to remember everything that you told her because they always do.
They
Mm-hmm.
Like right
definitely
now,
do.
what you say is like in the back of her head, but it's gonna come a time when it's gonna come to the front. So just give her grace, give her space, give her grace.
It will.
Yeah,
And you know, the
but that
kids will come back
it
and
ain't.
say that because my kids did that. I didn't think they were listening to me. And now that they're all adults, 21 to 29, now they have all come back to me and said, Ma, I heard you when you said this or that. Maybe I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. And
Mm-hmm.
that just warms my heart because it's like I was pouring into them and at the time, I was so frustrated because I'm like, y'all not hearing me.
Right.
I'm telling you to do this and prevent you from going through what I went through, and you doing something else. But for them to come back now that they're all adults to say, "Hey, Ma, I heard you," I really appreciate that. So my advice to you is continue to pour in her because she might not let on to you right now that she listening, but she listening.
Yes. Yes. And she's maturing, but it's just like, whoo, as mothers, you like, I didn't teach you this, like, better. Like, what are you doing? But I have to remember that it was a time in life where I went left. I went left, but then
Hmm.
I came right on back and got on track and became a nurse. And, but I did go left. I had to figure
Yeah.
it out on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we all go left. We just didn't have social media when we went left.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
now
And
everything is
everybody cheer
posted
you
on.
on to go left.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yes,
it's just a
It's like,
different world we live in now. It's just a
Yeah.
different world we live in now.
Yeah. We definitely didn't have social media cheering us on if we went left.
right.
We
Yeah.
Like
didn't.
social media is like it's got the good and the bad because it's
Mm.
giving so many people platforms and everybody don't deserve a platform. And I'm just being real about it. Like
Yeah.
everybody, I get it, freedom of speech, yes indeed, but everybody does not need to be heard. Like it's a lot of people out here with some mental issues, like mental issues that just need to be silent. You know what I'm saying? That's yeah. So I know it's got to be rough raising children in this era,
Yeah.
but I look at it like it's just all like just a cycle repeating itself. Like when you really think about it, I mean, when we was I don't know how old you are, but but I mean, we had the nakedness and
yeah.
everything like that, so I just look at it a lot of this stuff, I was like, it's just not for me to understand.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for me to understand.
Yeah. My son had the era of YouTube, and I'll never forget. He went to school and he had a fight. Well, he didn't start the fight. I will say that he did not start the fight, but he had a fight at school. Well, it wasn't on the school property. He had got in trouble at school. The boy lied and said that he had punched him, but he didn't. So they ended up sending him. They They sent him home, but they sent them both home on the same bus after school. And then
Mm.
he just was going to be suspended the next day. He couldn't have come to school the next day. But they put them on the same bus. So my son thinking is, well, I'm suspended. I can't
Yep.
come to school the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So I might as well go ahead on and kick your butt because I'm
Lay
already since
them
I'm
hands.
in. So he gets off at the boys' bus stop. They record the video because that's when they finally got phones back then. This the first set of phones. They record the video, but that's when YouTube was around. They weren't smartphones. You could just record and you could upload to YouTube. His video, because that I think World Star was the thing then. So they upload the video
Mm.
to YouTube. He come home. He like, yeah, ma, I'm on YouTube. He's showing me the video. I said, if you don't get that video off YouTube before you be suspended for more than that. But I'm like, why would you send them home on the same bus,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that that is a problem? My son like, well, I'm suspended now, so I might, if I got suspended, I might as well be suspended for something because I didn't even do anything. I said, you tell them to take that video down right now. I'm like, oh,
Right. You can get it. He can get expelled. Do
yeah.
you
I'm
know you
like,
can
get
get
that video down,
suspension and expel? Suspension, you get to go back, but
girl.
expel, that's it. You get kicked out.
Well, one thing, my son never started fights, but he sure was gonna make sure they got
I
finished.
I know that's right.
Oh, so
The
that's the
finish.
difference between boys and girls. Yana know about that because her boys was fighters too. They never was gonna start the fights, but they sure was gonna get them finished. I that was the difference.
Yeah. Okay, so
I was
let's get
rough
back to
around
this
it.
life coaching. Let's get back to the life coaching. So, with being a life coach, is it specifically where you have one-on-one sessions with people? Are you a public speaker? So, how does that come into play?
Basically book sessions, but I haven't been, or booking one-on-one sessions, but I haven't been booking that many as lately because I've been so focused on my second book.
Okay.
Mhm. So how do you like life coaching? Like, how did you get into the life coaching part?
I like to hear people point of views and give them my point of view. Like I like to, I wouldn't say debate, but like challenge people to like dig deeper and dig different. So I find joy in like helping people because I'm a nurse as well. But just like hearing people's point of view on things and giving them goals, and people be like, oh, you always give good advice and advice, and then I have people who call me just for advice, and it's like you should do life coaching because mine is just not agreeable advice. Like I'm not going to agree with you if you're right, I mean if you're wrong, but I'm going to challenge you to be like, okay, what could I have did different?
Hmm.
Okay. Okay, so you got a lot going on. So we're trying to hit that resume. So I know you said you're an aspiring actress as well. So have you started your acting career, or is this just the beginning? Can you give us a little information about that?
I did a couple scenes in like an Sure on the Spot commercial, Empire. I just did Forces, The Shy. Just
Mm,
basically starting from the bottom.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, look at you.
Hmm.
Get it,
Okay.
girl. Get it. You
So
have
you
a
had your short. Well, go ahead.
no. I was asking. I was about to ask her. Do she have a? Do you have a what you call the people that help you find jobs?
An
Do
agent.
Agent.
agent? Yes. There you go.
No, I was thinking about getting one. I was talking to somebody about that, and I feel like that would probably be the better route to get
Hmm.
agents to book to work. But I'm with a casting agency, so they kind of send me personal emails. But in order to get like the big scenes that I want to do, eventually I'm probably going to need an agent.
Okay, so agents, if you
Okay.
are here, or if you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, get in touch with
Right.
us.
Exactly. DM me or
Yeah.
email me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
With the casting, like with the casting agencies, is like I just heard it's different now. Like a lot of people, like you got to go in your pockets a lot. It's not like it used to be where they'll see you and say you got talent, so I'm gonna you know do this for you. Like, but a lot of these agencies are just looking for people to pay money. How
Right.
does that
'Cause
go?
my daughters had got picked. The oldest one, she had got picked for Disney as well when she was around 10. Then my youngest one had got picked. But once you get to taking them to these places, then you get to the end. They're like, oh, yes, only $3,000 to enroll them for a Disney TV
Yeah,
show. You can just pay
Mm-hmm.
$1,000 right now, and then we'll do $500 a month. And it's just like, no, wow. But I eventually got on through an agency where I did pay, and people's like, no, you shouldn't do that. But I didn't know any better back then. That was probably like 5-6 years ago, but it opened the door for me to get to the agency that I am now, where I don't pay. And it
okay.
just was like a package where you get headshots and all of that, but I didn't know. But I'm grateful that I did, because we waste so much money on other things, so why not waste it on something that can potentially help us as well? But
Hmm.
now I wouldn't pay, but I did eventually. I started out by paying.
Did you do
Yeah.
any like acting classes, like take any acting classes?
No, I would love to take some, but no, I haven't. Nope.
Okay, all right. Just asking for the people out there that might be interested. Like
Yes.
Right.
how you get, people have, want to do things, but just don't know where to start and
Mm-hmm.
how to get their foot in the door. So,
I would just say do research, get some professional pictures done, network.
okay.
Networking is a big thing. Like a lot of people don't realize how much networking is just out there, and sometimes it just takes being in the right setting
It
and
does.
research. A lot of people don't like to spend time sitting down and research. They want to do everything quick, expedient, and think it's just supposed to fall in their lap. It take a lot of time sitting still and research. You have to invest time into sitting still
You
and
do.
researching. It
Yeah.
takes a lot of time. Like even in our business, it takes time sitting down and investing that time into researching. I know me and Miana and Mo, she goes out with us a lot, going out researching wineries. Yeah, it's fun. Wine tasting here, there, and everywhere. I mean, it's fun. But
It's fun when they have great wine. It's not so fun when you
exactly.
run into that wine where all the
So,
wine is
it's
nasty. So
but it takes that drive and that research, getting out, taste, going out and visiting places, tasting wine to see if it's some place that our guests are gonna like. Because if you take somebody to somewhere, take guests to somewhere they're not gonna like, they're potentially not gonna come back on a wine tour. So it's the same thing, with you. If you got to, and you invest that time, if you waste time at a agency that's not going to get you anywhere, or you don't pour into yourself, then who else is going to pour into you? We got to
Hmm.
pour into ourselves.
And I think social media is so misleading to where people feel like they don't have to do the legwork, because they seeing
Mm-hmm.
people what look like just the overnight success. Like, okay, I can
Hmm.
pay to get a blue check by my name. That's not doing
Mm-hmm.
no work. Okay, I can post this, then I can get mad at my family and friends if they don't repost me. Like, this is your career. You have to get out there and do it for yourself. Like,
Mm-hmm.
everybody is not willing to do the work and just to play the blame game instead of
Mm-hmm.
taking accountability and chasing their dreams. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
right.
And then sometimes they make people who look like they have gotten the overnight success on social media. You don't know what happened in that back
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes. It may look like they got that overnight success, but you don't know really what happened behind the scenes. You don't
Mm-hmm.
know what they did to get that overnight success. And we're learning a lot about that, not to bring up, like the Diddy situations or other situations that are coming back about you. We don't know what these people are doing behind the scenes to get these overnight success things that are happening. So we got to be careful again with that social media, smoke and mirrors.
Hmm.
So, um, when it comes to, let's go back to become when it comes to being an author. What advice can you give people when if somebody wants to start writing a book?
I would say to organize all your thoughts and actually turn it into a book in a journal or a notebook or format it yourself. And once you do that, do your research on what publishing company you want to go with. Did my research and seeing that a lot of people are publishing like their own book, like doing it their own way and formatting it themselves and that kind of stuff. But I just was like, I'd rather just pay. I don't. But if you have the time to put in to create your own book outside of writing it, then I would definitely do my research to find out the information to do that. You hear so many people say, I want to write a book, I want to write a book, but it's actually very simple. It seemed like a far-fetched dream. Even I thought that until I wrote my first book.
Yeah, but like you said earlier, it's all about consistency. So if you really want something, you're going to be consistent. And if not, you won't. My grandfather used to always say, either you're going to find a way or an excuse.
Yeah.
But I think some people just pick it up, put it down, and it just seems, or they feel like it's not gonna be good. Do you give us like they might feel like it's not gonna be good, but it may end up like the book that Chantrice wrote. It ends up being it's something good, but sometimes people feel like, oh, sometimes I think it's all about self-esteem too for some people. They be like, oh, it may be something that they think it may be good, but they may think it's not going to be good. So it's like they'll hold on to it. Or some people might write too much and they don't know how to scale it back some, I guess.
Yeah, so it could be a plethora of things, just depending on the person. Like you said, it could be a confidence issue. It could be that they have so much going on in their lives that, they don't really have the time to do it. Um, but eventually it'll get done if that's something that they're very serious about. Everybody's journey is different, everybody's timeline is different. So what somebody might be able to, accomplish in a year, it might take somebody else 3 or 4 years. It just depends.
And I would say keep going until it's accomplished. Like, don't put a time stamp on it.
Yeah.
That's a good thing because I think too, like you were saying, I think they give up. But I think by you being a good example of how not to give up, you said in the beginning it took you 10 years.
Of just having these thoughts and jotting it down on a piece of paper, jotting it down in this notebook, putting a note in my phone until I just came back and combined it all. But I didn't even realize that many years had went by until I found the old journal that was like dated 2012, 2013.
What in what ways you think your books can help people? Like what ways you think your books can help people?
I think that we all can relate to generational curses. I think we all can relate to being in hard and difficult seasons in our life and just figuring out how to get out of it. Yeah. Especially with the first book, they give prayers, affirmation, scriptures, pages where you can journal, just doing that self-healing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So with the divorce and everything, how have you moved on? Have you moved on relationship wise? How's it?
Oh Lord.
Come on. I mean, I got the tea, right? I need the tea.
Right. Let me take a sip.
Wait, let me take a sip.
Like navigating through this chain of dating. Lord, jeez, we got to talk about it. I mean, we got just a little bit, like how is it navigating? How is it, navigating through the dating scene? You know, coming out of it, healing from coming out of, a heartbreak and things of that nature, but just have you just decided, like, you know what, I'm okay by myself.
Yeah.
What you say? Next question. Next question.
Right.
Yes.
No, I'm gonna be transparent. I'm gonna be real.
Mhm.
I'm still on like a self-healing journey. No, I'm not dating. Um, I think being married and being divorced is something serious. Like that's just not something you can just bounce back from. And
Okay.
Mhm.
although some women do, I just can't push myself to do it because I know mentally I'm just not ready. I know that it would be a distraction. Like I'm just not there yet.
That's fair. That's very
Immature.
fair. Very,
Immature.
very
Because so many
mature
people,
and very honest.
And
yeah.
I get backlash from it.
But why? Because so many people, that's why so many people hurt people because they jump right out of relationships and then get into other
Mhm.
relationships and they haven't healed from previous relationships.
Because some people feel like that's how they heal. You
Yeah.
know.
Well, that's because some people don't even like to be like, they be like, oh, I don't want to be lonely.
Mhm.
So you want to go
Yeah.
hurt somebody else and you still dealing with the last, you
Yeah.
haven't healed from the last situation.
Right.
Mhm.
I saw
Yeah.
something before that was like, women will take time out to try to heal themselves. A man will break up with their woman today and have another woman tonight.
Yeah. That
Or
fast.
3 weeks ago.
Mm.
It wasn't that fast. That's probably it wasn't that
I mean,
fast.
if we gonna keep it real, let's keep it
She was
real.
there. She was just behind the scene.
Look, they break up with you when they
And now
celebrate
you
their
all
three
broke up
month
and now she's
anniversary
in the
with
front.
somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Serena says so true.
Don't think
And
that
I'm
she
like,
just
you just broke
magically
up. How you
appeared.
celebrating 3 months?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Like
But
And
she
that's almost like if you ever pay attention sometimes when when men sometimes when they spouse die, then about 2 months later they be almost married again. You be like, wait a minute, didn't your wife just die?
right, right.
Almost married. Did y'all see on look, I'm gonna interject this. Did y'all see on TikTok or Facebook the guy brought his girlfriend to his wife's funeral?
Yeah,
Oh
I saw
yeah, I
that.
seen that. Hmm.
Serena said they get engaged next week.
Hmm.
I've been having like God tag me in, tag me in one time. Let me just raise me out the casket.
Yeah, move on very quick, very quick.
Mm-hmm.
The boldness of it all.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
even if you all were separated, wasn't on good terms, even if she knew about it and she was okay with it, just out of respect for,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, the family, wow,
But that
wow.
I
all
feel
goes
like
back.
that's one thing that's lacking in this world is respect. Things that when I was coming up, things that we knew not to do or wouldn't even think of doing. It's like no holds barred now. No one respects anybody. No one cares about anybody's feelings. It's just, oh well, get over it. I'm gonna do what I
Hmm.
want to do with no regard to how you feel. You have been
Mhm.
with this person for so long, and it's like they basically are a stranger because you don't even know this person anymore.
Mm-mm. No, and these women, they don't care. Once they hear the man side of the story, they just like, okay, well, that's on you, that's on y'all. This is what he said, so I don't care if you was married, separated, still living together. It is what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
that's a shame because now my spot opened up. You moved into my spot, but your spot opened up too. So
Hmm.
now
There
you're
you
Right.
gonna
go,
have a new
karma.
side chick, and you
Right.
thinking I'm the problem and he the problem.
That
Yeah.
good karma comes back around.
Be like, girl, it's a vacancy.
Hmm.
Right.
You ain't know it's a vacancy.
You thought you was the only one. You one of many.
S-
Yeah.
So we talked about, okay, so your girls are both actresses too.
Well, no, that's when they was younger. I had
That was when they was
applied, and
younger.
then they gotta okay. They go to the next round. They go to the next round. Then you get
Mhm.
to the last round. They require all this money, but yeah.
Okay, so now we talked about Chantrice, the motivational speaker, the life coach, the actress, the nurse. What does Chantrice like to do for Chantrice? What does she like to do for fun outside of all of that? What does she like to do for herself when she can turn off all those other hats and just wind down for her?
City girls up 100.
um, I like to travel. I like my alone time. I would say my alone time. I love my alone time. But I like to travel. Like to read a book. That's about it.
Do you
Life is
solo travel?
I was going
yes,
to
I have before. Yes,
Oh, isn't it great?
it is. It's
Oh
You're not on
my
wonderful.
nobody's
God.
That's
schedule.
why I say I love my alone time. Like
The
people be
solo
like, "You're
travel,
weird. You're lying. You're
I'm just
meeting a
like,
man
you
out
can't,
of town."
yeah, you can't
No,
tell me I'm not grown when I solo travel.
real
So
grown. Like, get
so it's
dressed up,
crazy,
go
but
to dinner.
yeah, so it's crazy, but my solo travel is with Miana, but we don't have no time.
That is not solo travel.
I know it's not, but
That
it
is
is.
that is BFF travel. That is a girl's trip.
But
what you say,
it's
girl.
We talking
She
about solo,
no.
she
solo.
said my solo
I
travel.
know it's weird. And my only other solo travels when I'm big traveling for work. But my
Right.
solo travel is because we don't be on no time schedule. We kind of do. But I got OCPD, so I still always in my mind always has something that I'm like a little bit of a time schedule because of my OCPD. But other than that,
Oh,
yeah.
really?
So, but yeah, that's my solo travel. We always
Oh
travel
my
together.
God.
Yeah,
I
Girl.
my
know that's
solo travel
terrible.
is for work. I haven't been brave enough to travel solo. Like, I'm on a plane by myself, but I have a destination of my cousin, my family or something. I'm going
Right.
to see them. But that's one thing that I do want to do is do a solo travel. Like I can go out to eat by myself. I can go to the show by myself. I grocery shop,
Oh well, you
all of those
prepping.
things.
You that's
Yeah.
preparation. You
So I can
building
do
up to
all of those things by myself, but solo travel is definitely on my list. I'm always on TikTok looking at people that solo travel, looking at the safe places for
yeah.
black women to travel to. So just prepping myself. So one day it's gonna happen, but until then, I'm gonna do that solo travel with Teresa.
She said my
I mean, I have done solo traveling. Like I've gone and done like some spa trips by myself in the past. But yeah, when Miana with the kid when she had her kids and stuff when she really wasn't. But once her kids got of age and we were like all of our solo traveling we do like together and we just kind of chill. But I mean, I have done solo traveling, but yeah, but we should all make time, especially women in business, women in working. We all need, I mean, when our children are older, we do need some more private time to ourselves. We pour so much into everyone else.
Hmm.
Like you said earlier, we got to learn how to be selfish. We
hmm
all, and it gets so bad, we know is being wives, mothers, caretakers, uh,
Hmm.
business women. We learn how to be everything, and then when it comes down to ourselves, then we sometimes finally do get a long time. I know for me, when I come down to getting long time, I start cleaning, I'm gonna do some laundry, I'm doing everything else but relaxing.
hmm I used to be like that, and then like, it can wait. It can wait.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with that me time. I get my me time in.
I'm getting better. I,
Now,
I am getting
but
better, but it's because of some life circumstances that
yeah,
it's made me have to learn how to do that. That I've
right.
learned to like sit still and be like, I gotta start to learn how to be still.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a process, and like I said before, everybody's timeline is different. You guys have got to were able to experience solo travel earlier. I'm committing to solo travel before I turn 50. I'll be 50 next year, so
What?
I'm committing to. Yeah, I'll be 50 next year, so I'm
Yeah.
committing to solo traveling before I hit 50. God willing.
Okay, that's a blessing.
Yes.
That's a blessing.
Yeah,
Look
we
at
turn
you.
that big 50 next year.
I
Lord
had to
Jesus.
say that again because when I said 50, I'm like,
Yeah,
I
we
missed
turned
some
50.
years.
Like 50
Yeah,
where?
Mm-hmm.
49
thank
where?
you. Thank you. Yeah, 50. I'll be 49 in June, and next year I'll be 50. And
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
have to keep saying it because, like, 50, my oldest is 29, and I have
Well,
two
you
and
don't
a
have
half
to keep
kids.
saying it.
Teresa, this is me. You gonna be 50 next year before me, but I just had to throw that out there for fun since you don't want me to keep saying it. But I'm happy that I'm about to be 50 because a lot of people didn't make it
Yeah.
Yeah.
or even make it to 48. So, at first when I hit that 40 mark, I was like, oh my God, I'm 40. But then as I got older, I just learned to appreciate that because life is not promised. I used to say tomorrow is not promised, but later on today not promised.
Okay. Right.
So
Yeah, that's
I
true.
just try to find the joy in everything that I can. Thank you, Serena. Serena said you guys look wonderful.
Thank
Ah, thank
you.
you, Serena.
So,
And you do
Chantrice,
too.
let
I
us know where to find before we wind down. I want to make sure that everybody knows where to find you.
I don't have Facebook, but I do have Instagram. It's Queen_Chantrice. My first book you could purchase on my website, www.queenchantrice, and you can also purchase it on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
Yes, please purchase her book. She been real hush hush about it, so that means you just need to go and read it and get what you need to get. Cause she just, yeah, and get the
Hmm.
book.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely. And look out for her on film, life
Yes.
coaching, nursing, doing all of the above, being a fantastic mom,
Yes,
etc. So look out for all of that.
and thank you. Like just nurses, like I appreciate I have like a great appreciation for nurses of all, you know, um,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, like just all nurses. I have a great appreciation. I have a auntie who's been a nurse for 40 years, and
Okay.
she's like our doctor. We call her. Like I'm feeling this and this and that. I mean, she's very knowledgeable. So I
Hmm.
really appreciated my son. He was a preemie, so he was in the hospital when he was first born for some months. So I was dealing with a nurse practitioner when he was in the NICU. Like she was the one that was updating me on everything. So I just have like this and just watching all those nurses in the NICU just take care of these little precious little babies that were
Hmm.
going through
Mhm.
so many things. Like I actually went and took the prereqs and stuff to be a nurse, but I was on a waiting list. I missed it, and other things chose me. Other careers chose me. So
Okay. I was
I
gonna say it's
didn't.
never too late to go back.
Yes, it is, honey. I am not going back to school.
You say no school.
Am not, and I work somewhere where I can get like 80% of my school paid for, and I'm still like I might take a few class. I don't know. See, I told you I don't know what I want to do. I don't know.
Well, you still young, so you
Yes,
got
I
time.
am. I'm 60 years old.
Mo,
You might
But
act 60
I
sometimes.
gotta start claiming higher ages. Like I'm not gonna go low. I'm going high.
Lord have
Tomorrow I'll be
mercy.
61.
So yes, we hope to see you again, not just on social media, but maybe come to catch us on one of our wine tours or wine trips.
Okay.
mhm.
Um, we're always out and about. We'd love to have you back again. You're welcome to come back on and talk about like your next book. If you want to come back and talk about your next book, we'd love to have you as a guest anytime. You are always welcome again to talk about
Thank
anything you
you.
have upcoming. The door is always open.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I enjoyed you, ladies.
We
Thank
enjoyed
you.
you. Thank you. I hope you didn't
Absolutely.
feel like we were just really trying to, move
We
too
going
much.
we will be lifting you up in
You
prayer
said
because we're gonna
like
say
y'all
the
was doing too. Who?
I hope you didn't feel like we were just asking too much, like trying to
Oh
dig.
no, no, no. You threw me off with that other
I
question, but no,
know,
you
so I
good.
was like, you know what I'm saying? Like that'd be the biggest topic. Like everybody is just the biggest thing is just relationships and men
It
versus
is.
women. So, like you just want to just touch bases, but I do, yeah, that's about it. Like
And I
just
healed myself based on other women being transparent about their story. So,
yeah, yeah,
I get it.
for sure. Yeah. So like whatever you like, we're open here too. We gonna share our stories as well. And I'm
yeah.
just asking because, I've never been married, so and I know all of you all have, been married before. So
Hmm. I
yeah,
got
it's
married young though. I was married at age 20, divorced at age 33.
mm,
Oh, okay.
And then I was married again by age 35.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Hmm. So that's why I said I definitely understood what you were saying about by not, by taking the time. And then when I got separated after in 2017, I definitely took time to heal, get counseling, and learn who I was. Because the only thing I knew was being a wife and mother. I never learned who I actually was and
Mm-hmm.
about me because that's all I knew from age 20.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have to take time to learn that, or we'll keep repeating that same pattern.
Right. And I do want to get married again. So I feel like why not do the self healing and the self work,
Hmm.
to get it right the next time around.
Yeah. That's why I said I definitely applauded you for that because that's something I wish I would have taken time to do after that first marriage, especially getting married at age 20, because you technically really barely know yourself at age 20.
Right. And then
So
I
I
say
wish I.
I always say we change every 5 years. I say people
Hmm.
change every 5 years. So you just
Hmm.
gotta get to know yourself. And if you involved with somebody, you gotta get to know them too, the person that they changing into.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. So,
Absolutely.
but yeah, we thank you for coming on. We're supposed to have another guest in the month of May, but I think that's right around the holidays. So we might take us a little summer break
Okay.
and
Okay.
come spin it back around in June. So everybody, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will catch you guys either next month or in June. Everybody have a wonderful evening and good night.
good
Good
night.
night,
Bye.
everybody. Thank you for tuning in.